The sick ones are sitting on their fat asses, eating and drink themselves into a stupor, polluting the world without a second thought while it goes down the toilet. Nobody wants to do the nasty work. You know, the shit that we all just think about. Most good citizens are just along for the ride and then bitch and moan and complain about everything when it doesn't work out. Not me. Get it?
Revolution Radio, where we do the nasty work. www.freedomslips.com.
Travels to Earth through the rainbow crystal bubbles from the furthest reaches of space and time, across the dimensions, through the elements, and in harmony with the colors of the universe. Through her mastery of abstract stream of consciousness malapropisms, she weaves a web of comic, satiric, cosmic conversation. Her subjects can range from Norman, the goose next door, to astrology and earth changes, and into the deep recesses of the soul matrix. She holds a wealth of knowledge on herbs, plants, and astrology. Join Mona and her guests on adventures of a feral hippie as she touches the earthly radio waves 5 days a week at 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Studio B at Revolution Radio. Join Revolution Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Studio B for Momentary Zen with host
Jimmy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what happened. The station just cut out. I'm here, but the station cut out. Yes, I'm here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I have a connection. I've been having a little bit of internet trouble here in the background. But hopefully it'll be okay. Have I been joined? Is there anybody on the call with me?
Yes, I am.
I guess not. Says yes.
No,
but...
yes, I am here.
Oh, there you go. And we do got the server. That was a miracle that I got that all figured out in that short break. I had to unplug the modem and everything. Jimmy, you got any music for us?
I do.
I just want a lazy day, man. Don't make me work this last hour.
No, I mean, I was ready to go. I had everything all Christmassy, and now
it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off for Macdonald in the morning, man.
All right, well, let's check in with Kid Creole. It's Macdonald in the morning, boy. Wakey, wakey. Let's have a cup of coffee. What do you say? I just got a fresh one here, Bruce. What happened to you, Bruce? You gone? You still there? Where'd you go?
I was on the mute.
The mute-ski. I see.
The mute got me. Yeah.
Well,
the mute ganged up on me. Yeah, I got a nice cup of coffee here too, man. It's just totally casual day. I got all my work done. I got my invoice in. So, yeah, life's beautiful over here on the mountain, bro. I got meaningful work to do. Everybody's happy. Taking care of a lot of people, man. It's nice to be able to help out, you know, like little things, man. Man, that dude who came back with his son who has cancer, man, that dude got a nice... That dude got like a quarter pig for Christmas. He's got like 6 kids to feed. You know, that's a big deal up here, right? Hauling over 8 kilograms of pork. Hey, Jimmy, can I tell you about what I ate last night?
Please do.
Okay, folks, you got to hear this, okay? My wife made this. It's a 7-kilogram boneless piece of pork. Now, I know you Americans don't speak metric, so what's 2.2 pounds to a kilogram? So 14 and about 15 and a half pounds of pork. The entire thing was wrapped in banana leaves. Okay, so now if you don't know what a banana leaf is, they're huge. They're like a meter long, and they're about 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide. A banana leaf, from afar, you can't really understand how big a banana leaf is. They're huge, okay? And they're often used for cooking because you can make an oven out of them. This is what they do, Jimmy. So you wrap this thing up. There's a certain way you wrap it up, too, so you cover all the angles so the juice doesn't escape. And you can take this piece of meat, and you can just put it in we didn't put it in the ground, but this is one way you can do it. You can put it in the ground on top of a bed of coals and bury it and come back in 4 or 5 hours. It'll be perfectly cooked because the coals keep cooking it underground and you form an oven. So it becomes like a roast pork, but it's all done with fire and coals. It takes about 3 hours. Now, when I saw this going down, I thought, man, this is just going to destroy like 7 kilograms of meat here. I had no idea. And it was all seasoned and salted and, various seasonings from our garden. I got like 4 oregano plants. Man, delicious. Oregano fresh, like when you just go and pick it and put it right into your whatever you're cooking. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's entirely different than picking it up at a grocery store.
That is true. It is much better coming straight out of the ground there. Just grab yourself a few leaves.
So anyways, that meat came due about 4 hours later after about, 3.5 episodes of Narcos season 2. And my wife came in with a plate and I ate this, and man, Jimmy, if that wasn't the greatest meat I've ever tasted in my life. Now, I'm not advocating overt consumption of meat here, folks. Okay, don't get me wrong. But and then it occurred to me, man, that human beings have been cooking this way since like before we had clay huts, right? It's mind-boggling, man. Mind-boggling.
Yeah, they do that. They do that over in the islands too. You get a different type of hog taste, though. I think it's a more sweeter barbecue taste. I don't dig on swine myself. I will have it here and there, but there's something about it. I just try to steer clear.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I honestly.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Look, never forget when you're criticizing the pork folks, it is the meat of the poor people, right? It is the cheapest meat to eat. It's cheaper than chicken. It's, I've done the math on all this stuff, okay? I've raised chickens, cow. Yeah, I think that's a horrible thing to kill a cow, man. I eat very little beef. I got to say, though, and I got to say this, people are going to hate my guts. A pig seems like it was created for harvesting, right? Like it's the ultimate farm animal to raise. You want to know why, Jimmy? They go from birth to 100 kilograms in 6 months. There's no other animal that comes even close.
Yeah, there's some people that say they're so just a little bit off from humans, but they were made specifically for sacrifice.
I did.
Genetically.
I went to 100 kilograms.
Harry, what was that crazy crap you were doing on the round table last night, man? Summoning up your earth fairies and in a public space. You ritualized that whole High Council round table. You ritualized it. I feel dirty.
That's good.
Yeah. What was going on there?
Well, I was thinking, right, the big game that's going on around the world at the moment where everyone's, politically analysing everything. We are in this time, right, but it's a time that's bigger than that. Like, really, the Uyghurs, if we go to the Uyghur style of, the Sanskrit stories and whatever, we're in this cycle. And if you can't see the full picture, then you're caught up in the details.
Yeah. So what you're telling people is to go online and download or rent Charlie Kaufman's movie adaptation with Nicolas Cage playing two twin brothers and get some new context on this situation we're living through.
What's that movie called again?
Oh my God, dude, please tell me you have seen Adaptation.
No.
One of the best movies of the last 20 years in American cinema, man.
It'd have to be because
Jimmy?
it's not much out there.
Adaptation, have you seen it?
No, I'm over here spun off in the weeds. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyways, folks, those of you who are hearing this show who have seen Adaptation, you know what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
No, I was talking about eating meat, and I was talking about pork, and I was saying that they're genetically modified or genetically created specifically for ritual human sacrifice type operations. And
it's Atlantean lore. Do you think that's bona fide?
I don't know, man. I just think it's I think it's funny just in general about bacon itself. I mean,
they're pretty intelligent, smart animals as well. Like, and you can get quite attached to them. If my sister had that.
Well, what's really funny to me, is we've been talking about a lot about this Great Reset thing. And it's funny because over the last 9 months, psychologically, I've gotten to a place where I'm just like you, Bruce, where the meat is not really appealing to me the way that it did in the past. And I'm almost falling right into the eating less meat thing all of a sudden. And I can't tell if it's because there was a period of time where the meat that was coming in California here, the hamburger, for some reason, it was just really, there was just something about it, man. Just this smell of it, it's been.
It's in the atmosphere, Jimmy. I reckon it's in the atmosphere. It's happened to everyone. Same with me. I go out and yesterday I was out chomping on my broad beans straight off the veggies, in the veggie patch, and stuff, and just loving it, just really enjoying the savoring moment of something that's, grown in your backyard, and you can go off and just hoe down on it,
Well, I'm wondering.
Let me be clear here. I talk about meat on air because I raise my own animals now, but I'm still, if you look at my entire diet, I'm still 95% vegetarian. Meat is a very small part of my diet. But again, my goal here, guys, was to create a situation where I can meet all my nutritional needs. And if I were to go for the full Indian vegetarian diet and get all the stuff they plant in India, including the curries and seasoning and the bacterial, the combinations of food for stomach health and everything they have in India. They've perfected the vegetarian diet with all the legumes they have. Man, it would take me 10 years to get that going over here, right? So I'm doing the best I can, and I reintroduced meat into my diet after 10 years of complete vegetarianism, bordering veganism, because I did not, once in a while I would have pizza with a little bit of cheese, maybe 2-3 times a year. Other than that, I didn't even eat dairy. So I was vegan for 10 years, guys.
Yeah.
Come over here now, and I'm harvesting my own pigs after lovingly raising them on a banana diet. Let me tell you that, and harvesting the animal is an art form. Bob taught me how to do that without any karma. You got to be careful. There's a reason the rabbis have gathered up the meat industry, folks. I'll leave it at that. And I promised that this was going to be a non-political, non-rev radio type Christmas show, but I couldn't help myself just there. I had to throw the rabbis in. They've cornered the meat market, man. Okay? Kosher and non-kosher. They're doing all the killing. When you know what I know about black magic, that's a red flag. Okay? Yeah. So you got to be in a certain state of mind. I won't kill an animal with a goof. I choose my partner, because you need a sledge and a knife, and then minimal suffering. My animal passes in 4 to 5 seconds, from eating and fully alive to gone from the earth in 4 to 5 seconds. Without a gun, that's pretty efficient, and I do it with love, man. And I know that sounds corny to a lot of people, but hey. Until you're farming and harvesting your own animals, why don't you shut up, because you don't know what you're talking about?
One of the most funniest times that I experienced was coming back from a funeral with in a caravan of cars with a bunch of Aboriginal people, right? And the first car hit a couple of sheep, at night along a desert road, and one of the sheep was, there's nothing left. You just saw this smear on the road. The other sheep was hobbled on the side. And I was in the car with this guy who worked at a butchery in the local shop, the local town that I lived in, an Aboriginal fellow. And he was like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? He was panicking over the sheep. So I get out, and of course I go over to the sheep that's hobbled on the side of the road, and I just lay down next to it and start, patting it, stroking it and talking to it kindly and saying, it's okay. And it just sort of relaxed. And, of course, I had my knife on me and just slit its throat in a way that was, and I said, go to the light. Not that I know go to the light or not, but I was just saying, those sort of things, knowing that it was time for it to leave. It was time for it to go as a spirit. And this chick comes over. She goes, Aboriginal chick. She goes, oh, man, that's deadly. It was like one of the funniest moments of my life, Anyway, but that's, I think, what Bruce is talking about is we've got to honor life and treat this need to be responsible for, the things that we have to terminate, let's say.
Yeah. It's very interesting to watch the kids at a harvest, right? Because the emotion of something being killed, a large mammal, is really overwhelming for them. It impacts them. It's a minor trauma. They don't admit it, right? And they may respond by becoming callous and joking about the death and trying to elevate themselves above it. I knocked that shit right out of place and fluent Spanish in about 3 seconds. I said, you will respect this animal. It's feeding you and the whole family, and it was a part of this family, and it was intelligent and it was alive. And if you can't understand that, you don't deserve it. And they get it. They get it. They thank me for telling them, right? We got guys up here. They'll harvest an animal drunk and miss the sledge 3-4 times, and there's a group of them laughing. I could go over and kill them. It's so sickening. It's unbelievable. It's purely reptilian, like seeing people getting off on the suffering of something. It's despicable, man. Despicable. Yeah. Boy, this show went south real quick, and I got nobody to blame but myself.
Well, I was going to...
Because I just arrived.
I got nobody to blame but myself. Anyways, let's get back to some happy cheer. Harry, thanks for joining. We're going to let you go now. Jimmy and I got this time-honored thing going, but I saw you texting me. I wanted to say hello and to make sure you were okay, because you sounded possessed by some seventh dimensional grand council in the galaxy last night.
Yeah, well, I was just looking back at the Merovingians.
There you go. All right, buddy. Harry Springford Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Harry Springford Williams, the Merovingians. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just thinking about this meat thing, and when you were talking there, and I was thinking, in America, there's a lot of children when they go to the grocery store, they just think it's in a package there. They don't even relate to the fact that it's an animal. I'm starting to think, there may be something going on, I mean, I know there's a psychological operation going on, but it didn't have anything to do with me not wanting to eat the meat. It was like the smell of it, the rank, just I can't even explain it. Like, I'm like you. I was a vegetarian. I was a vegan for a long time, and then I was a vegetarian. And then one day, I was walking down 3rd Street Promenade in L.A. I passed by Johnny Rockets. I saw a bunch of burgers on the grill, and I went in and I ordered me a cheeseburger. And I never went back to being a vegetarian, because I got such a charge off the protein from the meat, after not eating it for so long. I was literally floating down the street, man. And so that's, part of the issue with being a vegetarian or a strict vegetarian is you don't get the stuff that you need. And now they've come up with these pharmaceutical cricket growing operations where you can basically take a caplet that's like a vitamin pill, like a vitamin C caplet. It's got crickets inside of it. And,
powdered crickets, pure protein.
Yeah, man. So yeah. I'm not going that direction necessarily because of what's going on, but I'm sort of getting to a point where I don't want to eat the filth anymore. There's the this chicken and this hamburger, I wonder how long it's been around, I wonder if they're making it pink. I'm wondering, you know what I mean? It's just,
yeah,
it's just not healthy. So, I'm stoked about
No, it isn't, dude. I'm telling you, from what I've seen up on this mountain and what I remember seeing in the grocery stores in Toronto, that ain't meat, man. I don't know where they're getting those gigantic chicken breasts and selling them for so cheap. That's not meat. It's something. They got something going on in the background, some Franken meat going on there. I wouldn't go anywhere near it, man. And the organic growing standards in the meat industry are despicable. So you never know what you're getting, man, especially with the chicken and the pork and those pig farms, they're disgusting, man. And if there's a power outage or anything and they can't maintain them, you ever seen the cesspools created beside one of those corporate pig farms with like thousands of pigs?
Yeah,
dude, you can smell those cesspools like 20 miles away.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's disgusting.
It is, and they got a Harris Ranch facility on the 5 freeway going down to L.A., and that's where they have all the cows for the Harris Ranch operations before they get butchered or whatever. And they're standing in shit up to their knees. It's literally just disgusting, and it's just like it's funny that there's this conveyor belt of this food that just gets produced. It's just rank, disgusting. It's I swear to God, I read this book one time. It was called Diet for a New America, but it was written by this guy Robbins, and it was Baskin and Robbins guy, his son, and he wrote this book. Yeah, he wrote this book called Diet for. It has nothing to do with a diet. It has everything to do with like how your food's produced. And literally, Bruce, when I was done reading the book, I was like, I can't even believe I'm still alive, man.
I know. And people are worried about germs and washing their hands all the time. And they don't think about what they're putting into their mouths through this corporate farming system. Like, it's mind-boggling.
It is. I just think, in the future, there may be a really big opportunity, when you have a restaurant. That you have this aquaponic growing operation going right next to your restaurant, so you're producing clean vegetables for your clean herbs and all this for your restaurant. And coming up with ways that people can eat in a good way, and there'll be opportunities in the future. I think. But
do you ever notice when they do sci-fi, whether it be the first Star Wars with Luke Skywalker and those dome houses, or Jean-Luc Picard in the new Picard series on his farm in France, that whenever they show people living, their living arrangement is entirely self-sustained. There aren't markets. Like, they have the greenhouses, they have all their, I've noticed that about science fiction, where the distributed economy goes away. And the technology allows you to live autonomously. But look, Jimmy, I've come to believe that fundamental human autonomy that the peasant has is an absolutely vital ingredient to the proper formation of consciousness in human beings. And when you take us, everything that God wanted us to learn is in the natural system, because God's perfect. And so even the work we were supposed to do to sustain life on this plane of existence had spiritual value. When you get too far away from that, or so far away from that, that you don't remember that anymore, you're lost. You're just completely lost. And that's about, in the first world now, man, London, Paris, most of the American cities, Canadian, that's like 95% of the people. They have no idea whatsoever, right? The microwave people. I mean, microwaves have only been around for what, about 50 years? I mean, that's the worst thing ever invented for the human diet, the microwave. It kills all the nutrition. You know, I wouldn't even heat water with a microwave. It's disgusting.
Yeah, if you heat water in a microwave and pour it on a plant, the plant will die. I don't know if you've ever done it, but you can.
I did not know that.
You can do an experiment on just, look, we have, there are so many cool ways that we can move into the future and feed everybody in a good way. Even, in these urban type environments. But, we could talk about it. We're almost on the break, but we could talk about it when we come back, because I noticed all of a sudden this Great Reset operation is now pushing forward the idea that old office buildings that don't contain essential workers anymore should be turned into cubicle living arrangements for people. So they're already moving, hey, let's get rid of those shopping malls and turn it into high-end condos, where everybody's going to take delivery of their stuff. No one's going to go to the store, that type of thing. So they're going to get rid of all of these old, places where we used to work and we used to shop, and turn them into living quarters.
Yeah. So look, People have to realize that this is really happening. I'll cue the last section of the show, Jimmy. It's really happening because the economic damage done in the last year has destroyed the pension plans as well, right? So a large portion of the Canadian pension plan was invested in shopping malls, believe it or not. Nobody's going to shopping malls for nearly a year now. So they have to do the reset, folks. They have to. Because, and everybody who's, oh, hey, man, Sean David Morton's getting out, by the way, January 4th.
Yeah.
Hopefully, good news there. But what I was going to say is every single individual citizen who's gone to jail on the tax code, IRS or CRA, has been wrongfully convicted because the government's just washing its hands of its own debt now. They should be going to the same jail. They're not. We'll see you on the other side.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. Revolution Radio.
You don't see it, do you? How close we are to absolute chaos? The sick ones are sitting on their fat asses, eating and drink themselves into a stupor, polluting the world without a second thought while it goes down the toilet. Nobody wants to do the nasty work. You know, the shit that we all just think about. Most good citizens are just along for the ride and then bitch and moan and complain about everything when it doesn't work out.
Not me.
Get it done.
Revolution Radio, where we do the nasty work. www.freedomslips.com.
We did not engage in conflict that was out of line with our mission.
Is it disloyalty? Is it submission? Is it treason to oppose the hands of tyranny? Never!
I will never send troops anywhere to not without telling them that if somebody shoots at them, they can come and shoot back.
The dark cloud is finally lifting across the world as U.S. military intelligence and their global partners are destroying the deep state criminal power structure that has ruled over our planet for hundreds of years.
We are free with the God-given right, and we shall not give that right to any power on earth.
Hi, I'm Scott McKay. The world is at, and I am your host on The Tipping Point on Revolution Radio, where every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, we bring you the latest in this ensuing takedown of this global criminal empire.
That's an image of strength.
You'll get the raw, hard truth here on The Tipping Point. So come join us Mondays, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern in Studio B at revolution.radio.
I will defend myself
Switch to consumer
against
set.
their tyranny. Number 3 is my radio broadcast. I'm squarely in front of the public all the time, and they all know what's going on.
Around the world, playing on this conspiracy that relies primarily for expanding its sphere of influence.
Hello, my name is John Wayne, and I do a broadcast here at freedomslips.com, revolution.radio, called The Unequivocal Truth, DEFCON 1.
Freedom and fear are at war.
And folks, I assure you, we are in Defense Mission 1, as we journey perilously through this paradigm that we currently reside in. And I ask that you join me every Saturday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for The Unequivocal Truth, DEFCON 1.
We'll never surrender.
Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring.
My name's Jimmy. That's right. It's a happy Merry Christmas on Revolution Radio and Macdonald in the morning.
You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let me
And what would Christmas be without a little ganja? hope you get some ganja in your stockings over there, Bruce. How's your plants coming?
It's doing well, man. I can't even touch that thing now without gumming up my fingers. I got to go like scrub my hands with one of those pan sponges for the dish sink. So I don't know. I don't think this is the same strain I grew last time. I mean, people just give me seeds. I don't know what they're giving me, right? My neighbors, because they know I'm always looking for seeds to get one. I've been trying for 2 years. Now I got a bunch of plants that took off, but this is not what I grew last time. Last time it was high red natural. This is something else. It's a shorter, stockier plant, and the buds are coming in much stronger, really sticky. So
nice.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm gonna do myself up a batch of oil. Yeah,
you got the sticky, icky going up on the mountain. Nothing better than that, man. I'll tell you that.
I do.
Well, you know,
I could say some things on air, but I probably shouldn't. You know, there's within walking distance of me. It's like the California mountains up here, Jimmy, and you know, within walking distance of me, there's acres, okay, acres, and it's very hard for the helicopters and the airplanes to pick it up because the jungle foliage, right? And so yeah, and the Talamancas are the wildest part of Costa Rica. There's no civilization where I live, dude. You got to understand, cops don't come up here often, and so there's a lot of stuff up here, man.
Cops didn't used to come up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. That's why they, you know, in the 70s they all moved up here and started growing weed. But as time grew on and technology became available, now what they do is they fly over with this FLIR, forward-looking infrared, and because weed plants generate a heat signature.
Yeah.
So they could.
You know what I'd grow?
Go ahead.
I'd like to grow. I'm not joking. I'd like to grow a little bit of opium. I would, and I would like to try the old like Thai way of smoking opium, like the opium pipe. I would like to try it once in my life, because it is a natural drug. I mean, it's not really processed, right? But I'd like to get some poppy plants up here, and like not an acre or anything, but just, you know, a little 10 by 10 section, and produce my own morphine for my medical supplies up here. I mean, that would be pretty cool, right? It's all about autonomy here, right? So there you go. But where I'm going to find poppy plants, I could probably find them in Central America. Probably find them because Mexico was doing a lot of heroin too, right? And they were growing the poppies as well. I
think
can do that.
You've been watching too much Pablo Escobar, man. You're starting to get ideas now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't even know. Would poppies grow? I mean, poppy grows real well in Afghanistan. I mean, would it grow well in a jungle environment? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it would grow very, very well here. Yeah, it's the elevation. Well, that's very interesting. I had a comment from a listener who actually grew it in his garden and smoked it for a week. So it can be done, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. I mean, the thing is like, for whatever reason, you know, we were shown houses with lawns and yards, okay? But that same yard and that same swimming pool, I mean, if you think about it, you could easily switch a house that has, you know, the apparatus to at least take care of the basics, you know, your vegetables, this, that, and the other thing, right at your house. So when you take away these little things that chip away at you, you know, like money-wise, all of a sudden you start to need less and less money. You know, and so when it's just like the energy stealing that goes on with negativity. You know, it's like there's a million little ways, these little things that nag at you and poke holes in your, you know, luminous egg and let your energy out. You know.
Yep.
It's the same. You know, it's the same kind of principle. So. The less you have to worry about, the less you know really have to think about. And I mean, permaculture is something that, I mean, it should be ingrained into everything we do. So every architectural layout should include some aspect of permaculture outside of the house, with the planting of fruit trees and berries and different things that grow off what falls off the trees, and to plant things below those trees that feed off of those leaves and nutrients that come out of the specific leaves of the trees that you planted. There's so many ways that you could, if I would have known now what I known, back in my 30s or 40s, I would have bought a piece of property and planted a bunch of trees and stuff. So by the time I got old, I'd have a cornucopia of fruit and stuff.
I have given this a lot of thought, bro. A lot of thought, okay? And it's pretty difficult to escape the early environment till about to even start thinking about it till your 40s, because it's so charged for the lower chakras, right? I mean, when I think about like strutting about Toronto, making good money as a high tech consultant and everything, man, it's just like it just keeps your dick hard all the time, right? They keep you just looped in that cycle. You don't get wise. I am so grateful going into my 50s and the lowering testosterone levels and everything. Most people would say, "Oh my God, Bruce," most of the men over here living in the decrepit 5 times divorced, disbarred Chicago lawyer as my prototype for the wretched American living in the beach condos in Costa Rica. I mean, they're all over the Viagra. I'm really grateful for diminishing libido. I think more clearly. I live better. It's just our biology dominates us for the first few decades, man. It's really, especially when you get the marketing and the way they've configured it and everything in our society, Jim. It's hard to get out of it, man.
Well, no, I mean, the whole consumption society is based around that specifically. There's nothing there. What else is there? What reason is there to do anything other than to achieve your goal of meeting that person or attracting that special person for whatever reason? You can't attract a person unless you have this. You can't attract a person unless you do that. You don't have this hairstyle. You don't do that. And so, I mean, all the money that we spend, the majority of it has to do with, social engineering and putting us in positions to flaunt whatever lifestyle we're renting to people to, impart some sort of an impression on them that we're something other than what we may be. But the thing is, the bottom line is, the basic things that we have to do in life. I mean, I know surfers, and and I've heard stories about guys going down on surf trips to Ecuador and being around people that had nothing, and they were the happiest people that they've ever met. Those people shared everything they had with them, let them come and stay there, shared their food, had good meals, and laugh. Even though, and there's, they didn't have much, but their clothes were kept clean. They washed their clothes, and they were living a simple, easy life. And the thing about it is, simple, easy lives cause happiness, and happiness is free. The thing about it is our society is based on pleasure, and pleasure costs money, and money is what makes the world go round. So once we get off the profit system and get more into a resource-based economy, we're going to still have these kind of problems that we're having, because there's obvious exploitation that has to happen in order to keep the profit coming in. There always has to be more and more and more and more, right? Once you got to a level, well, now that's the level. Now you got to show more profit. And that always comes at the expense of human beings. Unfortunately. So, I just think it's a time, Christmas is coming up, Christmas is hard for a lot of people. Lots of people are alone, And so, hey, man, reach out to people, if you can. If you think about somebody that you haven't thought about in a while, give them a call, let them know, hey, man, I'm just checking in, see if you're still alive, hoping you're doing good, I don't know, it's time to, get ready to come to the end of the year. I don't know. Are there energies at work? Are we moving into that new age? Is that why people are starting to feel like they don't want to eat meat, and people are starting to sort of change in little ways? Society, what do you think? Is there something?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but I'm not a big believer in what we'll call spiritual gifts. Okay, I don't think anything is really given for free, and I think everything has to be worked for. So this is a new age idea that we're gonna we're going to get all these spiritual gifts in the age of Aquarius. Well, I mean, things will change. There will be a slight perceptual shift in the age of Aquarius. There's no doubt about that. But fundamentally, things aren't going to change that much, right?
Yeah.
We got to do it on our own. You said something a few minutes ago when you were talking about like the pleasure principle as the glue. You know, it also disenfranchises the oppressor and oppressed matrix through which we look at a lot of things at Rev Radio and in alternative media. And it properly recontextualizes it as a symbiotic relationship, Jimmy. Folks, you're there voluntarily, man. You're holding on to the rope. It's not tied to you. You know, you're holding the shackle. It's not actually around your ankle, right? So you got to get that stuff figured out too. And then, but I can assure you, when you finally do get it figured out, there's a whole world of natural living waiting for you here that it's so beautiful. And they try to scare you, right? Oh, the law of the jungle. It's the most civilized law I've ever seen in my life, the ecosystem of the jungle. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's flawless. Okay? Perfect. So the law of the jungle is natural law. So if you like natural law, live the law of the jungle, right? Literally or figuratively. Once again, you know, you don't have to do anything as exotic as move to Central America. You could do what I did in America, in a good rural location, right? You find some mountains in Montana. Somebody would sell you like a plot with a stream for probably a reasonable price, because people don't want to live in remote places, right? Get it all going. Buy an acre. You got timber rights. Cut down some trees. Build a log cabin. You know, get yourself a wood-burning stove in there. You know, there you go. Bob's your uncle, man. You got a place to live. You have achieved the fundamental goal of a human being, the base goal. And realize that in their system, you spend 25 years or more trying to do that, you know, by paying off a mortgage. So they're telling you it takes the bulk of your productive life just to build yourself a shelter. Does that sound like a reasonable economy to you? Doesn't sound reasonable to me. I mean, shouldn't take you longer than a few months to build the home you and your family are going to live in, right? I see people do it all the time, just like build homes up here. I live in a place, Jimmy, like there's no building inspector, man. Like I live in a wild place. I mean, the natives, they live in wood slat yurts with banana leaf roofs, right? And dirt floors. They sleep on hammocks. So I'm not saying go that primitive. Obviously, I didn't. I got a nice place, but it shouldn't cost you that much, man, to build a home.
I know, and when you think about the level of energy that you spend at some low-paying dead-end job to try to someday be able to blah blah blah, but you think about it, if you spend a couple of days a week building a house, how long could that take? I mean, I'm just saying, eventually you'd have a house. You know what I mean? And it's just like throwing pennies in the bank. It's the same thing. I'm going to throw my pennies in the bank, and someday, you know, I don't know. I think, you know, the big thing is natural law, you know, and once you start working outside of that and you create a man's law, you know, and you create this ability for you to suspend the consequences. That's the difference between natural law and man's law. Is natural law, the consequences are instant. You know, you didn't see that snake and you got bit, you're dead. You know, if you don't have the money for the remedy, you're going to die right there. Or if you can't fly to the hospital.
Yes, you are.
So the thing is, it's the same thing with modern society, is that all the dangers that there are around us are all numbed by these different things that are going on. Our ability to subvert natural law. For example, I mean, you know, alcohol, just as an example. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just pointing at it as an example. You know, you can get drunk and stick your hand in a fire and you won't feel your hand being burned off, but that doesn't mean your skin isn't coming off. You know, it just means you've numbed yourself. You know, it's like getting a tooth pulled at the dentist. You know, they stick a needle in you and get you numb, but they're jerking your tooth out and you're bleeding all over the place. You know, and they're just making you comfortable while you're doing it. So, you know, I think natural law is the biggest thing, really. I mean, and if we could get back to that, I think society would be a lot better. I think the divorcing of man from nature by the Catholic Church was probably where a lot of that started, to be honest. But
yeah. Diabolical papists.
Did you see the Pope said he's going to resign before the end of the year? I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked into it. I've just been seeing people saying it around.
No, I didn't see that. I don't follow the papal news that much. Yeah.
I know. So what are you gonna do? You gonna tonight? You gonna have a Christmas celebration? Are you gonna light up some Christmas candles and stuff and hang out and have a little party? Or
yeah.
What are you gonna...
In all reality, I'll probably be breaking up fights between my drunken brothers-in-law and various cousins and stuff like this. Right? These boys get a little. If they drink, it goes off the rails, man. They can't. Ticos can't drink, man. I'm telling you, they can't sit on their liquor. They go nuts, right? And so I could, that should be fairly easy to take care of, though. Yeah.
It was interesting. I was on hanging out with Kev Baker last week, and he had found this piece that Manly P. Hall wrote about Christmas. And, it goes into this whole bunch of stuff about Christmas. But one of the things I took away from it was that the early Christians, they celebrated Christmas like this with the tree and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they secretly were worshiping Jesus, because when this was actually going on, you couldn't just openly worship Jesus Christ. And so what they did was they secretly did these pagan type trees and all this other stuff. They did that ritual, but secretly between them, they were saying, hey, just between you and I, when we put this Christmas tree up from now on, it's going to mean we're worshiping Jesus, and we're doing it in secret, because they used to have to do it in secret, So I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, just these different Christmas stories from around the world. I'll tell you, the one is really a lot of people like to get into it because it's so horrifying, is the German Christmas and the whole, the Krampus and the spanking of children with these switches and all this, and them horned dudes coming out of the snow. I mean, it's pretty horrifying. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
No.
Yeah, it's just a whole different take on Christmas.
Hey, I got some breaking news here. President Trump has given new Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen permission to use classified information for indictments.
Interesting.
That is interesting. That's point on. That's the kind of dart I expect to see hitting the board as the days. I don't know why people are losing it. Like the panic I heard in last night's roundtable, man. And really, I don't think it's. I just have this feeling everything's under control, man. This guy is sitting on the ultimate trump card. They're all sitting at this poker table, and I just have a feeling that Trump, whether they know it or not, man, he's a straight royal flush, and nothing can beat it, right? And he knows that, and he's just betting with these people. Do you know what the odds are of getting a straight royal flush in spades, Jimmy? It's in the billions to one. Playing poker. Yeah, billions to one. You know what a straight royal flush is, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the odds are 1 billion to 1 for that.
Billions. I read it in a poker book one time. You could go your whole life being a professional poker player and never, ever see anyone get a straight royal flush. All natural, no wild cards, right? But so, yeah, man, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, again, when you think about this guy's been looking in all the files and all the accounting books for 4 years now, him and his people. His people got into the White House. They have a dossier, and they're not insiders. And this is the thing about why they want insiders in Washington. They want people who can go in there, look at the books, and not rat them out, because they've been running this scam openly since the Berlin Wall came down. Trump went in there and he said, I'm not playing this game. Imagine the dowry of information this guy has now. I mean, he's probably as dangerous or more dangerous out of office than in office. Word on the street also, I said I wasn't going to do politics today, but it's a little hopeful for the Rev Radio crowd as we go into Christmas. Word on the street is that AG Barr and Trump are on the best of terms, and this resignation was intentional, and he's going to reappear as a witness in a lot of these prosecutions. He's still down with the whole Trump thing and everything, right? So there is some acting going on, folks. There's some method, this is under control. Don't lose a whole lot of sleep over it. The high level part of it's under control. How it breaks out on the street, too many variables for anyone to predict, right? But I imagine a few warehouses are going to be lit on fire.
Well, Santa Claus may be coming down the chimney tonight, and make sure you leave him some milk and cookies over there by the fireplace, ladies and gentlemen. Are we on the air tomorrow? Because I'm not sure. Did you ever clarify that? Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Mr. Rhodes, can you just text that into the call? Are we on air tomorrow?
I'm hoping we are, because I got a show to do tomorrow night, and I was going to do a Christmas show, so hopefully we will be on the air. And if we are, maybe I'll pop back in with you tomorrow, as usual, if you want me to.
Yeah, no, that would be fantastic, yeah. I
All
don't
right.
want to do a Christmas show alone, man. What are you going to talk about, right?
Hey, man, it's an orphans party on the Bruce Macdonald in the Morning Show.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Yeah, man. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we're listener-supported. Mosey on over freedomslips.com, revolution.radio, and become a patron. Or go down to the Zazzle store and get yourself some booty. There's quite a bit of booty in there. Coffee cups, all kinds of stuff. Really excellent stuff you're never going to find anywhere else. And if you go down there and you grab yourself something, it also helps the station. Mosey on down the bottom of the page. You can find Lady Horse's address if you want to send in a piece of snail mail to help support us.
No.
Because we are fully listener supported, so please.
There's no radio tomorrow. The 25th is off.
Okie dokie. Well,
There you go.
I'll definitely be on YouTube tomorrow night doing my show at 10:30 Pacific. Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Strike Zone. Come on over and join us for the orphans party. You're welcome too, Bruce.
Oh, it's our choice. It's our choice to be on air tomorrow or not, according to Pat Rabbit.
Okay, well-
And so we'll do the show tomorrow, Jimmy.
All right,
We'll
I'm
bring-
here.
We'll bring in all the orphans, all the Oliver Twists out there.
All right. Sounds like fun. We'll do something fun. I'll see if I can dig something cool up, and we'll do something fun. It sounds like a fun Christmas morning with Macdonald in the morning.
You know what I'm doing right after this show? I'm hopping on that ATV, man.
Nice. Well, I got to go Christmas shopping, and I have another interview with Lockheed Martin.
That's it.
So Lockheed. Oh.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine. Don't worry.
All right.
That's fantastic news, dude. They're a good outfit. They take care of their contractors and people very well. I've interacted with Lockheed. I didn't work for them directly, but I've been on phone calls with them on projects, and super pro. Most professional company I've ever worked for was Siemens out of Germany. I worked for them in New Jersey, Siemens Medical. The Germans take everything to a whole new level, folks. The organization, everything.
I've done a bunch of stuff with Siemens. Yeah, so say a prayer for me, everybody. I need that job, boy. All right, we'll talk to you.
Best luck, Jimmy. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. And that's Macdonald in the Morning for Thursday, December 24th, folks. And we will be here tomorrow to rock your Christmas morning on a Friday. And please do join us. Jimmy and I will be here. We're going to have the Orphan Show, the Oliver Twist Show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Be well. I love you all, even the people I hate.
All right, there they go. So I got a whole bunch of Christmas shopping to do, and I got to go do this interview. So we'll see what happens. I will be back later today at some point. I'm not sure. Definitely gonna be back though. I'm not sure what time. So I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm sidetracking. So I'll be back, you guys. Just look for us. Click that bell, and then you'll know if we go live. All right? Okay. See ya.